at it. Adventure dog is out the river. There are bear tracks everywhere. Big buck tracks coming down. And you want to go check them out, don't you? All right, let's do this. All right, made her back again. Still alive. Now, before I get going, quick notes. Yesterday, did a little bit of bambling. I read a whole bunch of the comments. Appreciate all the kind words, and a lot of people are on the same page. Not surprising. But here's a question I have. So, when you take easy example, what we've all been speculating for how many years, right? Each one of you who are on the same page. And I think we can safely say it's confirmed by the reactions of Dan Bongino and Kash Patel as easy examples turned to frickin' subordinate kittens from absolute warriors just like that. You would think that between the two of them, they would know some absolute good warriors whose mindsets they got nothing to lose. That's the worst people you want to fight with. And they're willing to give it all up for the good. And you'd think they would be able to rally up a bunch of those types to go and face that evil that they've been exposed to, that intimidating evil, and deal. You would think, you know what I mean? Or at least, if I could get, well, I do have a direct link to Dan through somebody else, but I'm sure he wouldn't even bother talking to me, I'm quite certain. But if I could just get him or Kash to at least somehow on the sly tell us how and who and what, wouldn't that be golden? I mean, I want to know. I don't know. There's a lot of people that don't want to know anything. But you would think they would at least get that information out to us somehow and tell us exactly what was used to threaten them, exactly what was shown to them, and who. You know what I mean? I mean, there's been so many individuals around the globe have been absolutely intimidated and suppressed. Somebody's got to be able to deal out the absolute identity. Okay, it's the cabal. Who gives a shit about the cabal? I want names. I want pictures and names and sentences. Do you know what I mean? Of words spoken, examples of the evil they show these people. I want to know. Don't you? I do. I really, really do. You'd think those guys would get that shit out somehow. There's no question in my mind they're good guys. Not a question about it, but yeah. Those are my thoughts. Right? I want to know. Somebody, somehow, reveal. And I mean, not, we know who a whole bunch of suspects are in the world that are keeping knowledge from us and keeping us suppressed. I mean, it's gradual, but think about it, you guys. It's normal now for children to grow up in daycare where they get programmed very easily. It's normal now that both mom and dad have to go to work all day, every day, up to 7 days a week. That's normal now. It's sadly right today. It's actually probably normal now for little children to talk amongst themselves in the playground and go, "What fast food store does your grandparents work at?" What the fuck? But that's the way it is. It's gradual, but the quality of life, freedom, everything has just been spiraling, and it's time to stop this shit. That one really gets me going too. When I go anywhere, we drive anywhere, go through the mall, you go and walk through a food court to get a coffee or a snack, and our senior citizens are working these dog shit jobs in their golden years. I understand there's going to be a handful of people out there that just don't quite pull it off in life financially, but not every single, say, fast food store. McDonald's is one. They employ so many seniors now. It's ridiculous. When I was 15, 16 years old, that's where everybody from school went to get their first job. Paper routes, McDonald's, A&W, pizza delivery, it's all us kids. Not anymore. It's seniors, and both parents are working all day, and children are being brought up by iPads in daycare. That's fucked up shit. That's just so absolute wrong. And meanwhile, people who are supposed to be members of our tribe are allowed to be absolute multi-billionaires. Something's really, really wrong. And the holders of true information and knowledge. Come on. All right, there's my little rant. There's my rant, some of the things that go through my brain. And I decided to share out loud. But I wonder just how many of you would actually be all in if you were given the opportunity to know, see, and know the absolute facts when it comes to the ultimate evil that is causing all of this havoc. How many of you would actually want to be in the room with Dan and Kash Patel, Dan Bongino and Kash Patel, when they got their asses handed to them? Or would you not just, or do you want to just look away, drop your grandparents off at McDonald's to go to work for the day, and then and drop your children off at daycare and just keep going this way? No, I'm good. I just want to keep my head in the ground. I don't want to know. I don't want any trouble. Fuck. I'm all over the trouble. I'm into it. I'm down with it. I'm down. All right, there you go. Enough of that. Who do we got? We got a lot of brave people here, I know that. We have a shit pile of brave people here, and our numbers keep increasing substantially, especially lately. Usually when I talk naughty, our subscription column, the new subscribers, go zero instantly the next day after I say something real bad. But right now, people are flooding here still, flooding here on their own. We don't advertise or market this channel in any way, shape, or form. If anything, you would think that I would drive people away by saying, I don't give a shit if you're here or not. Do whatever you want. I don't give a shit. I don't need a following. I do not need a following. It's a big difference in this planet today with a lot of people. Now, I need knowledge. I need my tribe. I need my brave warriors is what I need. Okay, this is titled, It Went Through Us in Waves. Fresh out of the pan. Hi, Steve. My name is Brian. I've enjoyed your content for some time and truly appreciate others sharing their experiences on this topic and this reality. I will soon retire with 30 years in law enforcement. Wow. 15 of which I spent investigating major crimes. Detail and nuance are the key to clarity, understanding, and truth. Your community delivers that in abundance. This channel has prompted me to share a brief story about my experience. I'd never discussed it with anyone, not even my wife of 29 years until recently. Holy shit. Well, we are honored to have you here and be the first. And I'm super glad you found us on your own, obviously, like everybody else. People digging for answers. This incident occurred in the summer of 1994, and it happened in northern Piedmont region in North Carolina. The area was agrarian, but peppered with foothills, a river, and other bold creeks. And a friend/coworker and I returned from taking college night classes to our employer's rural property to retrieve my vehicle sometime well after 11 p.m. We stood in the driveway and talked casually with the benefit of a distant and dimly lit yard light to our far left. There was no moonlight out, and it was dark. And as we talked about nothing particularly important, we heard, quote, heavy movement, end quote, to our right on the adjacent property. And understand that what got our attention was not consistent with a white-tailed deer, a person, or a black bear. We talked while glancing curiously in that direction, and after a few moments it happened again and was more pronounced. We simultaneously stopped and faced what, in retrospect, may have been a growl. I said, I'm going to go look over there. My friend said, what was that? With trepidation. We both walked cautiously toward the building, much further now from the light source I mentioned. Nearly shoulder to shoulder, we closed the distance and stood about 20 feet from the structure and stopped. And at that instant, the most deafening, guttural roar/scream blasted from the darkness beside the structure. I've never heard anything like this in my life. It went through us in undulating waves. Its resonance and vibrations were disorienting. I never appreciated the second, but still, I never appreciated the second but simultaneous quality until you recounted the community's experiences. And accompanying absolute terror/fear was part of this blast. Managing fear is a tool in my trade, but this was a different animal, pun intended. We were knocking one another down, literally, as we ran like hell back to our original position. In short, we jumped into our cars, and I'll tell you that a 5.0-liter Mustang GT won't get you away from that situation fast enough. The next day we inspected the area, but found nothing obvious, to us at least. After finding your channel, I searched for audio of Sasquatch screams, and I found one quickly that was exactly what I heard. Only this being was cloaked in the darkness, only 30 feet from us. I listened to it 25 times in a row as the hair stood on my neck. And there it is. It happened to me. Take from what you will. I learned long ago that we were given 2 ears and 1 mouth. We should listen more than we speak. I know what it was. Carry on, brother Brian. And I will, Mr. Brian. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you coming forward with that. I wonder how you found us. And obviously you know that you're not alone. This has happened so many times. I can't believe it hasn't happened to me. I kind of expect it sometimes. I play it in my head the odd time just to give me maybe a little bit of a heads up on how to deal if it goes down. You know what I mean? So it's not such a shock. It's very effective. That scream/roar is very effective for what's intended from it by the intender. A letter from home is the title of this email. Greetings, Steve. I hope this finds you well and your home safe and sound. I've been watching your channel for a while, and I thoroughly enjoy your platform and no BS attitude. I caught your upload on Sunday, November 28, 2021. I was pleasantly surprised to hear an encounter from my hometown. I know the gentleman who wrote in personally. He was a classmate of mine from grade 8 to 12. Though we never really hung out, I would give him the benefit of the doubt if he told me his story. I was that kid grown up who was the new kid in town, didn't fit in at first. Excuse me. But I've hiked those coulees every chance I got for about 10 years. And I mean out at dawn, home by supper, and back out till dark. I've never seen or had any experiences with the Sabe, like most of the people who share at the round table, but I cannot deny that there were times something was off and I'd take a different deer trail. I'm currently living in northeast Alberta and have a few stories to share from some of the First Nations people I work with if you'd like to hear them. Sent for Mike. Mike, you don't think I would say no to that, do you? Keep it going. Next time you email, keep it flowing, all right? Keep it flowing, because sometimes, unfortunately, it can even be a year or more before I get to an email. So, please, send more. What's this? This is a follow-up by the sounds of it. Do you remember? It was a few days ago somebody wrote in about the metal-looking red bug that landed twice the size of a softball looking at somebody and then flew away with a clatter of the wings. And we said, has anybody else had this go down, remember? Well, listen, here's the title of this email. Red Metal June Bug Like is the title of this email. Dear Steve, you asked if anyone else has ever had an experience like the gent with the metal-looking June bug. I have. No way. Here we go. Backstory. I found you when you first started reading emails, and you've read several of mine. The big guy stood in front of me and went invisible. The kids would cloak in the woods and play at gently touching me on the shoulder. The native people call it counting coup. They helped me get out of the woods and to the ER when I was really hurt. Grandpa would crouch down and watch the neighbor and I walk our dogs. He seemed to want to keep us gals safe. I miss my Sabe. They protected me and helped me. Really. Before living at that property, I lived in Yelm, Washington. I always felt like I was being watched, and I hated it. I saw so many UFOs, it was crazy. I finally called MUFON to report all the activity. And it was when I was on the phone with a woman from MUFON telling her about the metal dragonfly with square wings when it flew into my face again while I was on the phone with her. It kept flying into my face, and when I tried to grab it, it would back up. Can a dragonfly back up? She was really interested in it. I was terrified because I had just seen the TED Talk showing the single bullet fly drones they had just come out with. They being our military. I was freaked out, of course, and I have no idea if that TED Talk is still up, and this is in 2014. And at that time, I was spending every day building my little travel trailer to live in. I would work on it for a few hours every day. The metal dragonfly started coming around after I'd seen a UFO, 20 feet over my head, silent. It was this event that finally had me calling MUFON. I had assumed it was a fake and would be better used for the UFO weekend at Yelm the coming weekend, and it never showed up at the event. I had so many UFOs show up, it was like I could go out every night and wave at someone. It was getting to be that common. I moved to the Olympia, Washington property soon after, and had so many Sabe encounters I could write a small book. I had trail signs left for me. So many encounters and visits it is impossible to remember them all. And I hate to say it, but I do believe that the Sabe know what kind of a person we are. Agreed. I only had safe encounters because of who I am. I'm like Snow White. The critters and the little kids love me. The only time Mrs. Sabe yelled at us in the woods was to get us out of the woods, as to not be attacked by the cranky cougar that was coming our way. I do believe that they, 95% of the time, do not want to hurt us. But it all depends on who and how we are. And frankly, I wouldn't trust 80% of the guys running around the woods with guns. It's a big number, 80%. Sadly, I have had more terrifying encounters with men than I have with Sabe. That's unfortunate. One day the dog wanted to walk, and when we got up to the wood line, we heard Mom and Dad, end quote, having a loud argument. The dog looked at me, pushed me by the knees, and we decided to walk a bit later in the day, LOL. It was soon after this argument that I saw the baby prince. Normally I would grab my camera and get a picture, but for some reason I felt like this was special, so I didn't. I had to move to that property 2 years ago. My sweet dog passed soon after, and since I no longer go on walks several times a day, I no longer see Sabe. I do know they have come to visit and check on me because I see their signs. The other day I noticed the blackberry vines are starting to grow, and I was cutting things down near my truck. The next day I went out, and all the vines had been swept up about 10 feet off the ground, way far back from my truck. I know who did that, and I yelled thank you to them. In another email I sent to you, I gave you the name of where I saved my videos of our walk so you could see the trail signs and territory signs. You can find those at, I don't know you and I don't know your channel. I'll hold off for a minute. I don't promote people's channels, I just don't. I can't remember, it'll pop up. I think I have the unique experience of being taught things about Sabe nobody else knows. They would leave me sticks placed like Norse runes on the trail to find during my walks. I do not know what they meant, other than I got the idea that they were trying to talk to me. It's not that I'm any kind of specialist, just that I would talk to them. My telepathy is not very good, so they only spoke to me that way during my medical emergency. Or maybe they spoke to me all the time and I was just not getting it. I don't know. I just know that living there for 6 years, I was shown baby footprints, teen footprints, trail signs, and all kinds of Sabe signs. They had a lodge they built and lived in for 2 years. A lodge they built and lived in for 2 years. Doesn't sound too common. I can't seem to send you pictures, or I would. I'd love to share all this with you. It started with tree knocks, and every time I would say hello, it's just me and the dog. We're just taking our walk. I will tell you, the one thing that freaked me out the most, one summer day during a walk, my dog took off wagging her tail, acting like she was running to see a friend. I thought a neighbor was up in that area of the woods walking around, and she ran up to a spot, sat down, looked up, wagging her tail like she was going to be petted. Nobody was standing there. Nothing. I told her to say hello to her friend, but we had to keep walking the opposite way. I know many of your listeners are starting to deep dive. I did this years ago, in around the year 300. The Council of Nicaea gathered together to decide what books to put in the Bible they were creating. It was during this time they started to hide the painting of the E.T. Pope. Yes, you did read that correctly. During my deep dive, I found a church painting from the Vatican from around the year 200. There was an actual E.T. Pope. I saved that picture. I believe the picture has been scrubbed recently, so sad. Now I know your hardcore folks will scream at this, but since I paint words in the style of illuminated manuscripts, I've been researching them for over 20 years. I've looked at books and paintings drawn from very ancient times to the 1600s. And remember, there are several paintings from the 1400s and 1500s showing UFOs. Also, I used to deep dive on the wild man of the woods. I found paintings for Sabe from the 1100s to 1600s. Often they were painted blue like the Celtic warriors. But all these folks show long hair. So clearly, we have known about the Sabe since the beginning of time. Steve, I love your question about why are we not being told about this? Why have we ignored the stories since the beginning of time? There are paintings at ancient sites and books that were hand-painted in the Middle Ages showing all these beings. Why have we always been kept in the dark? I've seen ghosts, UFOs, had a couple of ETs stand in my doorway, and many Sabe experiences. If you want to talk to a crazy elderly lady who has only nice things to say about Sabe, feel free. With warmest regards, Mrs. S. Mills. Mrs. Mills, appreciate your time and your email. That's a lot of knowledge. That's a lot of experiences. And you know as well as I do, a lot of people are going to hear that and go, come on, really? But not everybody was there. Nobody knows you and nobody's with you when you have those experiences. So that's a lot. There's no shortage of people who have had a lifetime of ongoing close-up experiences. It sounds a bit much, but life is a bit much. Do you know what I mean? Life is a bit much. Sounds incredible. The dragonfly thing, that's so bizarre. Take from what you will or leave it, you guys. Right? What's this? Don't know. Going in. This is titled YouTube Share / and a little about me and my dad. Fresh out of the oven, this one. Hi, Steve. Thank you for all you do. I recently came across your channel and became such a fan, I subscribed immediately. Love your attitude. I have others listening to your podcast as well. I've had minor things happen to me a few times, and I know who / what it was. I live in Romeoville, Illinois. My father started having visits and crazy little things going on his property for approximately the last 2 years. We have pictures of handprints in the clay dirt. Most activities seem to occur late at night and in the rear of his residence, which coincidentally is where his bedroom is. Random mischievous antics, i.e., slapping the residence, leaving large branches in the rear of the residence, not from any trees on his property. Weird one, right? Take note. Stealing the bird suet from the holder, even after he used a wire to thread it shut. Something still undid the wire and took the suet. Only this time, whatever it was, threw the holder away from the tree where it usually hangs from. I believe it's a migratory route. He does have a creek right off his property in the rear. Power lines nearby, as well as the Tennessee River is near too. He has heard the whoops and other sounds he's never heard before. He's actually seen one walking through the tree line of the creek. Very brief. And he said it walked so fast, it was gone in a blink of an eye. My dad's a nature lover, animal lover, etc. Such a sweet and chill soul. I think they know this of him. He resides in Tennessee. I get Squatch Watch updates as they happen. I thought I'd share a bit of happenings with you and all the round table. I'm going to try to send you this YouTube short. I don't know if it will go or work, though. Love to all, Kim. Kim, no attachment. No attachment, but I absolutely appreciate the kind words, the support for everybody here, and your generous act of sharing that news with everyone here. And we'll see who else maybe possibly chimes in from around your area. Sounds like your dad's in for a bunch of excitement, right? Hopefully it's all good. The tossing the bird feeder thing doesn't seem to be too cool. All right, this next one is titled Red now. Floating Furry Face. Hey Steve, Matt here again from East Souk. I thought I may as well share this. Probably the most bizarre story you've ever heard, but it's a shorty. Years ago in my teenage years, living in a rural on the Pit Lake in BC, I think you meant rural property, my parents had some family over for company. I was in my bedroom with my cousin just hanging out. He was on my bed with the window behind him. I was sitting on the floor and I looked up behind him. And what I'm about to describe next will make me sound unhinged, but I don't really care. Perfect. Just outside the window, what I can describe to the best of my ability is a fur-covered head. Almost like a basketball, perfectly round, but covered in hair or fur, no neck, no body. Literally just a floating head. The eyes were small and sinister. I don't recall seeing a nose or a mouth, but the teeth were traumatizing. Jagged, narrow triangles like a creepy jack-o'-lantern. I turned my attention quickly to my cousin on my bed to turn around and look. And when he did, and I as well returned my gaze, it was gone. It's been probably 30 years since this occurred. It sounds so stupid to put into writing, but I know what I saw wasn't fake. It was one of the creepiest things I've ever seen. No witnesses, and a lot of laughs. A floating fur-covered evil pumpkin face isn't conducive to a long conversation. LOL. Anyways, just thought I'd throw that out there to see if I'm the only one or if maybe someone else has seen something similar. Sincerely, Matt. There you go, Matt. Thanks for sharing that, man. You crazy bastard. Kidding. Well, we'll see, won't we? Have we heard something like that before in the past? I wouldn't be surprised. But on that note, I'm going to share something with you guys. Might be nothing, probably is nothing, but the other day when I was checking the trail cameras and with the dog, and the first camera we checked, there's these other 3 cameras that I bought from Amazon last year when I just rolled the dice, and I don't know how many different unknown brand names of cameras I bought, but it was a bunch. So unfortunately, these ones that I checked the other day weren't the Guard Pro cameras. They were some other brand. And they have a mini SD card in them, which sucks. I hate that. And I didn't have a mini SD card reader with me. And then I remember last year as well, these cameras, I had to put the mini SD card in the holder, put it into the laptop, and then I had to use another app called Handbrake so that my computer could read the images. Full pain in the ass. Anyway, when I was going, but I can look at the screen on the camera to look what's on the camera. When normally, I never leave home without an SD card reader, and I throw them in my phone, which I love, which you can do with the Guard Pro cameras. Anyway, when I was going through, I was hitting on the video, showed a black bear running, and then the video stopped. But when the video stopped, it just showed a still image. And I went like this, whoa. And there's this face. It looked like maybe 10 feet from the camera and big. And it just looked like exactly what you described. And I'm thinking, all right, that's just some kind of stupid shit-eating apparition, right? And then I kind of looked at it again. I'm like, oh, that's kind of weird. What the hell is that? But I was in a hurry, and I had the camera going behind me and the dog bouncing around. We got other places to go and check trail cameras, and I never thought too much of it, but it's still in the camera. So I'm just saying, your email just reminded me of what I think I saw on that SD card the other day. And if it is what it is, if it is something, I'll share it. But the next time I go back there, see, I have to bring a replacement card with me. I can't stand, once I put my cameras out, I don't want them not working. Period. So I'm going to have to remember to pack three replacement SD cards with me, hit those cameras again, replace them, then I can bring that SD card home, put it in here, put it on the app, and we'll see what I come up with. But I know it's a useless thing to share, I guess, right now, but we're all just sitting here bullshitting at the coffee table. That's what happened. That's what I thought I saw, maybe. If it is, it's going to be pretty freaking alarming. Excuse me. And it would only mean that he couldn't get caught on the camera when it's fully recording, but it may have got caught on the camera when the speed changed, when it shut off instantly. I don't know. Who knows? All right. Now, where are we? Red. Oh, what's this? Red. Usually it shows up as red right in my face, and I click, some of them don't show up as red, and click on it, and then it says red. So that's why it's taking me a minute, all right? A little bit of patience required. Red. Okay, what the hell? Uh-oh. This title isn't a good one. Here we go. My 12-year-old son's first solo hunt / nightmare. Oh, that sucks. Right away, that sucks. Hello, Steve. First of all, I want to thank you for giving us a place that I can speak freely without the humiliation of being laughed at for something that I experienced in my life that affected me so bad that 13 years later, I'm still having nightmares. My name is Tim Smith from Leesburg, Florida. I'm sorry to hear that, man. I'm glad you found us. Hopefully this is going to help. November 2007, we were hunting in Morris, Georgia. My son was 12 years old and had been begging me to allow him to hunt by himself. I had my fears because my son was famous for falling asleep in the stand, and I was worried that he would fall out of the tree stand. Safety rope, harness. I was proud that he was wanting to show me that he's ready to take that step. To make us both happy, I built him a box blind on skids that we could drag around anywhere we wanted. I found the perfect spot on a road that ran between two bottoms and was a natural funnel. And the only problem was, it was 1 mile away from my stand, but that's where we wanted to be. Saturday morning, we hit the woods for his first solo hunt. My son got on the four-wheeler and took off. I was a nervous wreck listening to the noise of the four-wheeler in the dark, trying to picture in my mind where he was in the trail every second until finally the engine shut off. No doubt. This was before texting and he was too far to use radio, so I told him at any time if he got lost or just scared to just shoot one time and I'd come running. He'd been in his stand for 20 minutes and it was just starting to get light enough that you could begin to see the tops of trees. The woods were so quiet that you could almost hear your heartbeat. And that's when my life changed forever. I heard the loudest, most terrifying scream / howl that you could possibly imagine. And at the end of the scream, it would taper off into a guttural growl. It echoed so bad that I could pinpoint an exact location. I was terrified. In 30 years of hunting, I'd never heard anything like it. And whatever it was between me and my 12-year-old son. Woo. A few seconds later, it screamed again, and I swear it was louder the second time. And it screamed a total of 7 terrifying times. If I was scared, I can't even imagine how terrified my son was. I hit the ground and started heading to my son. I made it about halfway and hadn't heard any more screams or a gunshot from my son asking me to come and get him. It was good shooting light by now, so I decided to just hang out to give me the benefit of the doubt that he was okay and going to complete his solo hunt. What? You hung out? At 9:30 a.m., to my relief, I heard the four-wheeler start up again and begin heading my direction. I turned around and double-timed it back to the truck so we wouldn't find out that I was only a couple hundred yards away from him the whole time. And when he got back to the truck, I was trying to play it off like everything was normal because I was afraid that the kid would never set foot in the woods again. And I could tell by the look on his face, too, he had been through hell. He said that he got into the blind and got all his gear in order. He was excited being out there alone and was impatiently waiting for shooting light. And about 15 minutes after getting into the blind, he could hear someone walking in the bottom to his left. The footsteps kept getting louder and louder until they stopped about 10 yards away from the blind and went silent. It was still so dark that he couldn't see anything but the tops of the trees. And it was quiet for about 30 seconds, and that's when he could hear something smelling the air. He started to hear a growl that started off low and then got louder. And whatever it was, he thought it was in the trees because of the height that the sound was coming from. The next thing he knew, the growl got louder and then turned into a deafening scream. It was so loud, he could feel the vibration on his face. He got so scared that he laid on the floor of the blind and pointed his rifle towards the window. When the screams finally stopped, he was trying to listen for footsteps so he would know if it was walking up to the blind, but his ears were ringing so bad that he couldn't hear anything else. He laid on the floor until he could see that it was daylight, but didn't want to get up. He finally fell asleep and woke up about 9:15 a.m. Gathering all of his nerve, he finally peered out the windows and did a 360 scan, and whatever it was had left, or he just couldn't see it. He gathered up his gear and made a run for the four-wheeler, scared the whole time that this thing was going to run at him. The whole time he was headed back, he said he never took a single breath. And he's 25 years old now, and he's never missed a hunting season since this happened. Oh, thank God. I was expecting the opposite. The only lasting effect of that morning is the horrible memories of his ears still have a small ring that never went away. I, on the other hand, still carry the regret that I should have went to get him. That decision still haunts my dreams, or should I say nightmares. Well, that sucks, my man. You know what? Nobody's perfect. You know what? None of us are perfect, and nobody can judge anyone for not reacting in what might be the right way. You know what I mean? Believe me, I've been in the woods with a lot of people, and I've seen every reaction you can think of, and a lot of them have been disappointing in my mind, especially my best friend I'll never forget when he threw that rifle. He threw the rifle with that frickin' grizzly coming straight at us, throws the rifle screaming, shoot it in the head, running away, and I didn't have a gun. It's like, come on, buddy. Anyways, sounds like everybody, you made it out of there okay, though, right? I mean, your son's still hunting. I understand you're having nightmares about that. I'm no counselor, all right? I'm no counselor, but I always try to pull some kind of positive out of everything when I'm talking to anybody. But it is what it is, my man. It's just another slice of life, you know? Your gut was right. Whatever happened that morning when you decided to do what you did or didn't do, your gut was still right. Still worked out fine. Everybody's safe and sound, right? What are the chances, though? You know what I mean? What are the chances? I mean, usually that shit happens to people randomly. But I mean, come on, really? The first time a boy's going to be by himself in the stand, you pick that person in that moment? Come on, right? Shitty deal, but it's all good. Let it go. Yesterday is gone forever. Appreciate today and look forward to tomorrow. If you're lucky enough to have tomorrow. You know what I mean? All right, what do we got? One more. What is going on in the world and what we can do about it is the title of this email, fresh out of the oven. Well, you asked for it, Steve. This is a long one, but something about what you said today struck a chord with me, and then you asked for my take, so here it is. All right. Lead. L-E-A-D. Cause, bracket, a person or animal, end bracket. Cause to go, a person or animal to go with one by holding them by the hand, a halter, a rope, etc. while moving forward. All right, so that is the meaning of the word lead. We live in a world where our family, the human race, is being led to its destruction. True. And I don't think it's the first time in the history of what's gone on this planet, obviously, right? By all the ruins. Steve, today I saw you talking about what you believe may be going on in the world and why we see no one making a stand against the evil. About how you see politicians with the potential to lead cowering and turning tail like kittens. I sat there and listened after a long day in construction, my whole body racked with pain. I'm tired of the toil, and like you, I want to know so much more. On days that my body hurts this much, I think about how much time I have left here and what staying normal is worth. And here's what I see. We live in a world where all ancient cultures talked about other worlds beyond this world and this life. Portals, fairy, jinn, trolls, little folk, ghosts and sabe. The connection is clear if you don't buy the brainwashing. The magic is still around us. Those who were here before us speak of a magical world. I believe that world was our origin, and we are living in the apocalypse that followed. We live in a world where ancient families, bloodlines, lineages, and dynasties took root and developed methods of maintaining power well into the modern age, wisely out of sight of the mass/public view. After crusades, holy wars, and the first two world wars, many, if not the majority of all our sacred knowledge was strategically destroyed so that we have no living memory of our past. During the crusades and witch hunts, any pagan or heretical peoples were exterminated, so the memory of what truthfully happened could be wiped out in totality by the church. Agreed. I'm not a Christian. But see that if Christ truly existed, it is clear his message was co-opted to rule the minds of men that followed. A true Christian, Buddhist, Islam, or other, of which there are many, need no church or preacher class to tell them what to think. Only their connection with the source. Agreed. What we remember of the old world these days are just remnants. Though there are good people in government and religious positions, it is clear to see from a neutral viewpoint that governmental and religious influence is used en masse with cruel intelligence to disenfranchise or disempower our people globally. Native peoples all over were removed from their lands by every atrocity necessary. All peoples who are not native were once as well, but were the first to be colonized. The idea of white colonizers is so disconnected. Gaelic, British, European type people and cultures, as example, were the first crucified, at least from as far back as we can collectively remember. And these enslaved people were used as batteries to fuel death cult societies, which were then spread to every corner of the globe where we now live. And science has become a religion. To become a doctor, scientist, professor, intellectual, you must join the Church of Science and strictly adhere to its doctrines at great pains or be punished with excommunication. To become a doctor is a harrowing and difficult journey costing a lifetime's financial investment and 20 to 30 years of education. Good luck speaking out against propaganda when you make $300,000 annually and spend 3/4 of it yearly. What other job could support the lifestyle you've entrenched yourself in and your family who depends on you and not ruin you? Take the jab or lose everything. If we all knew Sasquatch was real, as you have suggested, would create an irreparable schism in society that would inevitably lead all to truth. The Vatican and the Smithsonian have been documented for over a century to show up and collect fossilized remains and archaeological evidence of contradictory specimens and historical finds. When people go checking into these institutions about where the giant mummy remains and out-of-place cultural artifacts have gone, these institutions say they have no record of them. Our governments, I believe, stir up wars and controversy internally to motivate, confuse, and distract the populace from putting the pieces together, without a doubt, as well as to assist and lead change that the dirty bastards want accomplished. If I were your leader and I paid someone to kill your family, and I convinced you that your neighbor was responsible, then you would beg me to go and kill them in return, and you wouldn't even think to ask if I looted their home in the process. Some would suggest this is why things like trade centers collide with airplanes. People like Nikola Tesla die mysteriously, and their game-changing research goes missing. Look into Nikola Tesla's death and death ray notes. There's a connection with Baron Trump there. Mr. Mythos on YouTube does some great in-depth research on the subject, if memory serves. People discover the cure to cancers and free energy, whistleblow against government atrocities, and end up suicided. Existence didn't kill himself. What? Oh, I think you meant Epstein didn't kill himself? And isn't it weird that Ghislaine Maxwell's court case wasn't public, and that there are only drawings depicting it for review on the internet? Well, it's kind of normal that she's doing time for human trafficking to no one, right? Even though Epstein was the best connection we have had in a century at rooting out the biggest sex trafficking ring in human history, why haven't we heard about any of that? Because our world is run by demons. If you're on the verge of making a great change, hold your cards and say nothing until the moment you let it all out. Open source your information. Make it impossible to contain before you make any public statements. When I say our world is run by demons, what I mean to say is that I think, at this point, it is wholly possible that our feckless scumbag world leaders are actually papery husks puppeted by non-human individuals bent on enslaving the human race. I'm leaning there too. Whether it's by fear or tactics and resource control, or also by literal possession, all one has to do is look around at today's world leaders to realize that there are maggots in the bread. Wouldn't you agree, Steve? Absolutely. Human beings are powerful, more powerful than we collectively may remember at this time. And the only way we're going to see the fruition of this yearning is to pull ourselves and each other up by our bootstraps. Ultimately, it doesn't matter if the corruption is literally human or some foreign entity controlling our governments. No one is coming to save us. Whether there are inner earth societies, realms beyond this realm, or alien federations in the stars above, it has become clear to me that this suffering will only be changed by the alchemy that each of us listening makes in the next 5 years. The time of the axe and the sword is nigh. We are the heroes. We are the people. We are family. And it is happening right now, people. You can make a difference, just like Steve has, but in the way that fits you and your talents and connections. We each have a piece of the puzzle needed to solve this damn thing. It's time we all lean in a little deeper. Within each of us is a seed of greatness. I may not really know you, and you do not know me at all, Steve, but I have to tell you, I've been listening to your channel for 2 or 3 years now, and the amount of times you've spoken my mind exactly has blown me away. Now I just accept it. I know we're brothers, and perhaps one day we can knock back coffee and cheers while we compare notes about what to do with all this. I respect you deeply and want to thank you for helping me and the rest of the club to keep fighting. I look up to you, actually. I'm still a young man working to build myself into something, and the sheer amount of work you get done has oftentimes reminded me that I have more in the tank than I think. In some way, your actions have helped to lead me towards being the man that I know I can be. I see your wisdom and downright stubborn momentum is contagious. And in closing, it's this. We all live and die by the mistakes and efforts we make. Failure is the result of not getting up when you've been knocked down, not falling in the first place. That is a given. Challenge is hard baked into this game. Pick a new path and try again. If we as people are truly tired of not being told the answers, then the clear collective answer to our community's problem is this. Go get them yourself. Give yourself permission. Build a healthy base by working hard. Educate yourself. Look for alternative sources to what you know. Cut out distractions. I mean your cell phone. Stop eating their poison food and consuming their poison information. Get in fighting shape. If your health is out of balance, you won't have the energy we need from you or that you need from you. Work to deeply increase your income and autonomy over your time. Entrepreneurship is better than being an employee. Take care of your family. Do what you love. And take risks to expose the truth. None of us get out alive. Play the game. There's something far greater than this. There is something far greater than this life beyond. So F it. See what you can do with a little bit of elbow grease. If you want to see change in this world, then create it yourself with the same ruthless intelligence the slimy bastards use, but do it with your heart. Create a tribe around you with the same values and rip it down while you are here. Then someday someone can tell tall tales of what you and your allies did during the Great War. Ultimately, we must learn as gardeners of a new earth when to cultivate and when to clear away. I don't know about you, Steve, but I think watering crops is just as important as removing pests. Above all, being knowledgeable in how much to water and how to deal with the pests is of the utmost importance. And this is a clarion call. Each one of you listening is a warrior. It's why you're here. It is why you're so curious. You can do it. This world is full of lost followers and deception. So lead with your heart, but do lead. There's no need to say my name. You just call me Mantis. Thanks for reading. Hope it helps someone. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate the kind words. Sounds like you may be an old soul to me. But there you go, you guys. I hope you're listening. Take from what you will or leave it, but there's nothing but encouragement there. Wise encouragement. Changing the world. I better shut my mouth because I could just start babbling after that email. For sure, right? But there you go. I'm so glad there's people listening. I'm so glad there's people out there on the same page. I'm so glad everybody comes here with one goal in mind, is to help themselves and help others. Right? There's no taking here. There's no taking here. There's people looking for answers and looking to help. It's funny, I was thinking about that earlier. I was pondering that last night about these things and how I'm convinced that as a whole we are quite the lost peoples at this time. And I think this little machine at this stage of time in our existence is perfect timing, because I have a feeling that every single person that scrolls through these damn things nonstop, I don't think people are looking to be entertained. I think deep down people are just looking for that one message. Whether they think they are or not, I think people are just nonstop looking for a message. Don't you? Think about that one. Just take a look at these things from that angle and the state of our society today. I just truly believe that the people that are scrolling are lost. They don't realize they're lost. And deep down, they're just looking for that one message. Don't you? Think about that for a bit. Maybe I'm wrong. I've been wrong in the past. Maybe once or twice, I think. Kidding. What else? Quick note. Rebecca, our last win of the trail camera. Guess what? We have a mail strike. Shitty deal. You will get your camera, but nobody's giving or receiving shit here until the mail stops striking. Can't do nothing, unfortunately. But either way, What day is it? Wednesday? I have to get fishing quick. I got some of you coming with me quickly, and I haven't been out once. I got to go figure out what's going on, get the gear working, find some fish, just figure shit out. Get ready to rip and kick ass. So I got to do that pretty quick. But I will still be doing this from the coast. I ordered something. I ordered a mount for the boat that'll mount the Starlink on my boat so I can go through with the live feed fishing. I'm all over that like a fat kid on a frickin' cupcake. That's gonna be good for people who just want to log in or check out the channel and see what's going on throughout the day. That'll be really good. And I'll be sharing people's voices still as usual once I get out there. And yeah, so don't forget to share your truth, all right? Share your truth. Encourage people around you. Don't take any shit. Don't be scared of anybody or anything. Make sure you do what you love to do no matter what, or you're the living dead, right? My stomach's growling. Holy cow. Breakfast time. Share my story at howtohunt.com. Get it out before we can't, all right? Appreciate all of you so much. I'll should be back tomorrow.